Good afternoon and welcome to the Huddersfield Blueprint event for New Street and Cloth Hall Street. I must inform you that this event will be streaming live on YouTube and you will be recorded. Today we will play a short presentation to explain the design proposal for New Street. This will be followed by a replay of the 3D walkthrough. This is not a glitch, it is intended to give you a second opportunity to view the 3D after hearing more about the design reasoning and explanation. The presentation will explain the design proposals for New Street and Cloth Hall Street, the inspiration behind the design and the thinking behind the design and elements within it. After the short presentation, we will have a 30-minute question and answer session where we will aim to answer as many of your questions as possible. So we will begin with introducing the panel today, starting with Simon.
Hello, my name is Simon Tidswell. I'm a highway engineer and I'm involved with a number of design and construction of a number of highway projects in the town centre.
And Jonathan?
Good evening, my name is Jonathan Welch and I'm a principal engineer involved in the design of New Street.
And Michelle?
Hello, I'm Michelle Stevens. I'm a landscape architect here at Kirklees and I'm part of the New Street delivery team.
And I'm Louise Christabel. I'm a landscape architect for Kirklees and the design lead for the New Street project. So now we will begin with playing of the presentation.
The inspiration. The unique topography of Huddersfield. Threads through the landscape. Threads of waterways, coal and home. Weaving and overlaying these different threads. Made in Huddersfield threads. The hidden threads of technology. Producing a current and contemporary space firmly rooted but able to grow and adapt. From previous consultation and around the place standard feedback and blueprint launch, we gathered your input. Poor street furniture, cluttered, lots of railings, bins that are falling apart, mismatched colour schemes, poor signage. New Street will have 3 clear zones: zone for pedestrian only movement, zone for vehicular access, deliveries, a central zone for furniture and planting. The central zone will reduce ad hoc furniture and define a space for cafe furniture, as well as helping to give better access for all. Furniture will be upgraded with a higher quality and designed to help easier street cleansing. It would be nice to have more lighting and natural features in town, such as water and greenery, places to sit and eat lunch out of the office on a nice day. With your feedback, our aim was to create a green street. The vertical greening planters give a bold greening feature whilst providing floor space for other activities and addressing some of the underground constraints in this area. Building on the existing use of the Ramsden Street end of New Street, we have created a zone to encourage more on-street cafe usage. Lighting is important for the vibrancy of the space. We are also developing a lighting strategy to enhance the scheme. Pavements and surfaces need considerable investment. These are particularly hazardous for people with impairments or disabilities. We have established a range of materials which will be used through the town centre to provide a consistent, high-quality finish. High street decline is a long-standing trend with many causes and variables. It is not, however, inevitable. Businesses, high streets and urban centres are responding to the changing ways we shop and live with a range of actions to encourage footfall and increase sales. The most successful of these recognise the economics of place and the need to improve the pedestrian experience and accessibility. We hope our plans for New Street and Cloth Hall Street will improve the pedestrian experience and meet your expectations.
One.
Welcome back. We will now try to answer as many of your questions about the design of New Street and Cloth Hall Street as we can. So we had some questions submitted prior to the engagement, which we'll go through now. So the first question that we received was, when will it start? So I'll direct that question to Jonathan, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course. The works are proposed to start on site in May next year, and we would expect that the works will probably last in the region of 12 months. If I just continue, during that time, of course, we recognise that you may well be concerned about any disruptions, but the intention is to work in carefully prepared sections throughout the street so that we will maintain full access at all time to all shops.
Okay. So another question that we received was, how many benches will there be? So what we're envisioning is there'll be at least 12 individual opportunities for seating that'll be supported, which means they'll have arms and backs, and then there'll be a minimum 12 opportunities for more open seating along the proposed stone benches that we're proposing, I've seen on the 3D visual. So another question that we received was, what impact will it cause to deliveries? So I could directly to Jonathan.
We'd envisage that access to for deliveries will be maintained at all times. However, if we feel that some of the routes are going to be changed in the view of the fact that deliveries may well be coming in either end of the street, we will ensure that businesses are kept in touch via letter drop at all times.
Thank you. So we had a question about the umbrella, which you see in the visual. So somebody's asking what is the umbrella for? So would you mind answering that, Michelle?
So the umbrella is being considered as it's currently just a conceptual idea to respond to the wider Kirklees Council's Playful Huddersfield strategy, which is looking at creating playful interventions within the town centre, attracting families and giving a unique experience.
Thank you. So another question that we received was, what type of planting will it be that we're proposing? So the planting will be designed to be easily maintained, types of planting that can cope with the urban environment. We'll also be looking at incorporating sustainable drainage to help with the watering of the plants. We'll aim to create a contract with a landscape specialist to plant and maintain the planting for the first few years, which will encourage it to get well established and give the plants a good fighting chance to get going. So another question we had was, how will you prevent antisocial activities on the street? Michelle, would you mind answering that one?
As part of the wider New Street team, we're working with the police architectural liaison officer and the CCTV specialists, and also our lighting department to look at keeping clear sight lines and how the street will be surveyed in the day and the night to ensure that surveillance is kept as good as it can possibly be.
Thanks. Another question that we had was, how much will it cost? Jonathan, would you like to answer that?
Of course. Well, the scheme budget has been allocated in the region of £5.2 million. This would be over the 12 months and is in line with that within the blueprints.
Thank you. Another question we have, well, where will the cafe space be allowed? We have allocated a zone, which you may have seen on the 3D presentation, which is a central strip throughout the street, which is creating a more accessible space really by keeping the main routes in front of the shops as clear of obstacles as possible. We're also working with licensing team to incorporate this zoning into any future licensing agreements, just to try and minimise disruption for everybody on the street really, and keep clear, clutter-free streets. So another question we received was, what type of trees will be used? Michelle, would you like to answer that one?
Yeah, so we'll be looking at incorporating trees which we know are tried and tested to respond well within an urban environment and that can cope with our changing climate.
Okay, we had a question as well about the tall planters that you may have seen in the 3D visual, asking what are the tall planters. So the main purpose of the structures is really to create a green element with a sculptural quality. The idea of the structure is to give a bold green in element where planting trees may have been difficult due to underground equipment and infrastructure. And they'll also provide a sculptural feature. And these will be going out as a design tender to specialist fabrication companies who will design and fabricate and install the structures. So we have a last question. Will you be taking away the phone boxes? I'll direct that to you, Jonathan.
Yes, there's 4 phone boxes on Marketplace, and there are 3 in New Street. And under the proposals, the 4 within Marketplace will reduce to 2, which is just at the start of New Street. There's a further 2 phone boxes within New Street, which are close to Clothall Street, and the proposal are to remove those 2 completely. And the remaining one, which is halfway between Clothall and Ramsden Streets, is proposed to stay in place.
Okay, that's all the questions that we have for today. I hope we've tried to answer as many questions as you can. If there's any questions that you want to ask, you can ask them through the New Street engagement website. And I'll just like to say a final thank you for attending the Huddersfield Blueprint New Street and Clothall Street online event, and hope you have a good evening.